Hi, everyone. I'm Dave,
And I'm Jeremy.
and we'd like to welcome you to our Tech Over Coffee podcast. We're so excited to share in this podcast with you. We look at these really important technology topics. We look at industry, current events, maybe some recent changes with some tech research, and kind of apply those to the business environment and see how that's impacting business as we know it, or maybe as we used to know it.
Yeah.
So we have a few topics to kind of get to, but first of all, welcome back, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm back. I hope nobody noticed that I was gone.
I did.
Yeah, I feel it. It's a little bit of a personal topic today, right? Because it's just as much about the tech as it is the people giving you the tech information, right? It's the characters here that we all care about. Um, so I got injured. I managed to, a tech-related topic actually, electric scooters. Who knew that you could get hurt on them?
Yours was like a hovercraft, though, right?
I thought it was, right until I hit the ground.
Oh, yeah.
I broke my collarbone about 3 months ago, give or take, and that's why I've not been here.
And the footage of that looked really bad. I mean, you had some pictures from the hospital, the X-rays. It
Another
was a
cool
clear
technology called
break.
X-rays.
Yeah.
The good clean break, no surgery needed, plenty of R&R, and I'm back in action. I can move my arm, do all sorts of things that I couldn't do for 2 months.
Yeah, we're excited to have you back. We had Jib kind of fill in that kind of, but he did. He filled in big time while you were
Knocking it
gone.
out of the park.
That's right. So we definitely will have a rotated schedule now. We'll have Jib joining us, so we're excited
Brand
about
new
that.
star, and it's all my fault.
No, it's thanks to you. So we've had a good transition. We had to start with Ben. That was his vision. We've had Jeremy
Yeah.
continuing this and taking it to the next level. And we have Jib participating with the process as well. And I think next time Jib joins us, he's going to sing that old time song, Welcome Back Kotter or something, kind of old school.
I don't know. Is he gonna start his own music podcast? I don't think we do that kind of thing here.
That's right. He's not welcome back.
Yeah,
I
no.
forget that.
No,
Yeah,
he's
so.
definitely welcome
not the
back.
music.
But only talking about technology.
That's right, with Tech Over Coffee.
And personal topics that affect people like me.
Okay.
So, yeah, getting hurt is a different experience. I've first real major injury like that. The healing process is a slow one, but believe it or not, you're more resilient. You kind of come back stronger for a little while and appreciate the things that you couldn't do, like this podcast. Really enjoyed it, and I'm really, really happy to be back.
You seem stronger, man.
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
That's
I
right.
do it with my left because I can use it again.
So topics, you kind of have a
Yeah,
new range
so
of some things you've been thinking about.
I've been out of commission for a while. I know I've missed some stuff, but some really big things happen too, right? Like while I'm laying in bed, we've got billionaires going to space. You've got Tesla getting sued. You've got GM replacing exploding batteries, all sorts of things. More and more hacks are happening, right? You've got big focus on cybersecurity. I heard the college has got some cool things going on.
That's right. So we have a lot of neat things to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll kind of go in the order you mentioned. Billionaires in space. So just reading the Wall Street Journal the other day about how Branson is thinking about, is it Richard Branson?
Yeah.
The first billionaire in space, I think, low Earth orbit, but it counted.
Right alongside Bezos, too.
Right, beat him by a week or two, week and a half or so.
Well, didn't they go, they went separately, didn't they?
They
yeah,
did.
Of course, they didn't just hop on the same plane. But
Right. Branson went Virgin Galactic, and he was saying in the Wall Street Journal just, I think, yesterday that he sees about 10 companies probably getting involved with space tourism. So that sounds exciting. Just think about maybe some orbiting hotels or some kind of
Some crazy
restaurants that you'd go up and eat and come back down.
We're going to
Hell,
have cloud cities, like places you can go hang out and, be not on land.
I knew George Lucas was right when he was
Yeah.
planning that stuff out.
He's
for sure.
got such a vision that he
Yeah.
could see this stuff coming from so far away.
That's right.
It's not called Skywalker for nothing, right?
That's right. We'll have to call that first cloud restaurant Lando's or something.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
So you've got guys that they're really doing it now. You've actually got people that it's like you or me could do it if we only had, I think, $250,000.
To travel.
Yeah, to just
I was thinking you were
buy a
talking
ticket
about
and go
creating
up.
the technology.
Oh, the technology, that's easy peasy. I'm saying
Right,
the
the
money,
money,
the money's
right,
the hard
right,
part.
yeah.
But I mean, those guys have it in spades, right?
They do. And in space as well.
In space for sure. I mean, the whole goal, right, is to keep making it easier and easier, cheaper and cheaper, right until you can get to another planet and then hop to the next one and just keep going. And there's so many possibilities when you, I mean, I see we're doing more research on Saturn's moons, possible, like there's lots of stuff coming from the Mars rovers that are really cool. Got like a drone helicopter that's flying around now. Wild stuff.
Yeah, China's on Mars. So when you think of these billionaires and the space tourism, I kind of see space in two buckets now. That you'll have people like Branson and Bezos with Blue Origin and Branson with Virgin Galactic. Maybe having, I don't even know how they'll do it. Maybe orbiting hotels, you'll fly up and have a nice dinner and fly back. I mean, so there's going to be unlimited, especially when you can ferry back to the moon. And you think about there, that'd be a great hot spot for just resorts. Obviously research, but you think of the tourism just to get away.
So much research and then so much fun for people that want to like hop around and gather some moon rocks. Maybe find some cheese. You never know.
And so then the other bucket, when I think of space, is to me the important stuff. Though space tourism will probably is what's going to keep the money going. But deep space travel, with Elon, I mean, that's really moving the needle. Many standards, of deviation past where we're at now. That's where we need to head to be able to get from the moon into Mars and asteroid mining and places we haven't even thought about.
It's all like a leapfrog effect. You like take one stone, you move to the next one, and you just keep hopping. And with the abilities that they're really figuring out now, you have reusable rockets, you have the ability to get into that low Earth orbit rather easily now. It's not like it's some big deal. You can just, hop a plane, buy a ticket, and do it. And it can actually make travel a lot faster even on Earth. You can hop up, skip over to a whole other continent a lot quicker than just flying straight there. It's just from like having less air resistance and everything that's involved, right?
So exciting stuff. I think space is going to impact a lot of business activities, not just kind of out of our orbit, but even on ground, right? It'll give us new technologies and new ways to do things.
Bringing more resources that we don't really have here, right? Like if you find the right asteroid that's got, whatever mineral or material you want, figuring out how to mine that, bring it back home, or take it to like a moon base or something else where you don't have to take materials from Earth up there. It all kind of works together. And there's so many resources out there. You can get to a point where we don't have to worry about the scarcity that we have here on Earth, and that's kind of the focus.
Can you imagine having a foundry on an asteroid? We really need some help with some graphics cards, right?
Yeah, exactly. We really need to figure out how to make more chips. That's the other thing that's been going on is you've got like a big lack of chips in almost every industry because we still have a pandemic going on. You still have troubles with supply lines, and everybody wants chips. Graphics chips, just silicon chips in general is what people want and need.
Just reading the Wall Street Journal again, Toyota is shutting down manufacturing plants because they don't have enough chips for the autos. I mean, that's... Wow, sad day.
Different companies are taking different approaches. Shutting down your product lines, probably a better move than, Ford, I see what they're doing is actually building out the vehicles just without the chips and leaving them in a field. So you have hundreds and hundreds, thousands of vehicles that are just waiting on chips to go in. And the thing is that it's a big line and you have to wait for it. And if there's any sort of disruption on the way, it's just delays. And if you didn't already have the orders in, which a lot of these companies canceled their orders or didn't continue to order them while things were shut down, and so that's kind of why we're in the situation we are now. You've got TSMC that's building out new foundries. I think in the US, they're looking at other countries. I don't know if it was Singapore, one of these countries, or Japan, I think, is trying to get TSMC to build a lower nanometer variation so they can just pump out cheaper chips because that's what people need. You don't have to do cutting edge 2 nanometer, 3 nanometer chips that are like TSMC is putting out now, which is kind of insanity because you're kind of getting to the point that you can't get below that, really. That's like even smaller than a human hair, much smaller than a human hair. So, it's hard work.
I hadn't thought about it before you mentioned it, but these auto manufacturers, they also have the business side of things, not just the technology of the manufacturing, but unions. And so if they've negotiated so many vehicles, to disrupt union negotiations and
maybe they just make them anyway and wait.
Wow. And then you might need to change how cars are listed. It's not only the mileage anymore on it, it's going to be how long has it been in the field?
Yeah, or what chip is in it. Tesla has made some differentiations where they've actually gone with other suppliers and have to completely rewrite firmwares, completely, rework their systems to fit in these new chips, and that's how they've managed to continue making cars. Maybe at not as much as they could have, but it's a thing that they can pull off because they've got the software engineers. Certain companies like Ford, GM, maybe they're not really tuned for that. I mean, they make cars on an assembly line and they just keep it going. And if they can then later have to go through and put in new chips, I mean, I saw BMW had to take out certain parts from their cars, radars or things like that. I know Tesla took out their radars from their cars a little while ago, and some people speculate that it was simply because of lack of availability.
Well, and you mentioned autos, the thought of EVs. That's where we're headed for sure. We saw President Biden driving that F-150 EV,
Yeah.
not quite ready for the consumer, but
It's out there though.
yeah,
It's
he said
low quantity,
it
but it's out
definitely
there.
moved, I think from the back of the White House to the front of the White House, that, that driveway.
Yes.
It worked quite well, he said.
Oh yes.
But the thought of EVs of the White House or Congress mandating this date where all vehicles or a certain portion of vehicles have to be EVs, that was exciting. But then also they missed the important part.
Yeah, you got to have the infrastructure, isn't it? You have to have the place that you can charge up your vehicle, right? If everybody's going to be using an electric car, you've got to be able to charge it up. So that infrastructure is, charging facilities. And so the biggest, more publicly available one, because you can't really consider Tesla as like publicly available. It's only available to Teslas, which is changing actually. They've to try to get some of this money that's going to be put out there for this infrastructure, you have to be an open charging system. So Tesla is actually opening up their chargers to other vehicles, and there's a lot of them now. Almost every auto manufacturer has a full plug-in EV. So to be able to then access the Tesla charging stations is huge and a big moneymaker for Tesla too. And if they can get money from the government to build them out, then they can just make even more, right? But Electrify America is really going to be the one that's going to get a lot of this money. Electrify America, the company that was born out of the Dieselgate with Volkswagen, where basically because they lied on diesel emissions, they needed to kind of pay that back to people and the earth, basically, try to encourage more sustainable ways, and rather than lying about how clean your cars are, put I think $2 billion into building out charging stations across the country. And that's worked out for them. They've actually sold, I think, half of it to another company. I'm not sure who.
Now, are they a nonprofit, or do you know if they've spun off as a for-profit company?
That's the thing. I'm not really sure. I think they obviously.
Or just an arm of Volkswagen? Or?
Volkswagen got to maintain control of it, so
Okay.
it's solely owned by them, and that was in lieu of paying fines.
And it actually
So-
could work out, for their betterment.
Right.
And some people think they're positioned well as a manufacturer anyways, that they have a good grasp of the global marketplace.
Well, they make good cars, and they know what they're doing, and they have a large production capacity, and that's a big thing. And then to basically avoid having to pay fines for all of their kind of cheating before, and then it work out
Those
in
are
their
tough
favor.
words.
Well,
It's
it was.
true, yeah.
It literally
The
was.
data was manipulated, yes. Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about other EV companies, right? GM's making EVs. Some of their batteries might have some issues. I think we talked about that. It kind of set fire, burned down a few houses, and I don't know if it's entirely GM's fault, because it's linked back to, I believe, it's either the LG batteries, there's like a separator there. Tesla even early on had same issues, and that was related to something called Batterygate, where they did software changes to the batteries to slow charging to avoid them from burning down.
And the government's kind of questioning that now.
Yeah, they ended up settling a lawsuit for some large sum of money with, I think, 160,000 owners. If your car got slowed down, then you get basically a payout for the fact that your car doesn't charge fast anymore.
$200 or something.
Yeah, a few $100
Yeah.
with the lawyers getting the bulk of it. But this GM situation, they kind of did the same thing, where at first they tried to avoid the issue. They maximized the amount of charge you can put in the cars to 90%. They put out warnings to owners saying don't park them inside. Really scary, but they were burning down. And a big lithium fire like that doesn't go out easy. Speaking of lithium fires, I'm going to be jumping on so many topics lately. There's so many things
And we
I've
got so
missed,
many
right?
more to get to in the future, too.
But Tesla's got one of the biggest battery backup systems in Australia, and one of those caught fire, and it burned for 4 days or something
Wow.
like that because it's a massive battery.
And how do you put that out?
You basically don't, because the way that a lithium fire works is that it produces its own oxygen, so it's its own fuel. It gets to thermal runaway and just goes and goes and goes. So you just have to wait it out, basically. Throw a bunch of water on it until it cools off, and hopefully doesn't reignite.
So we have some exciting topics in front of us. I mean, we have everything from space that's
much.
going to be taken off. How can we not talk about Tesla every
Yeah,
week? That's
it has to happen. The moment I come back, Tesla, Tesla, Tesla.
I got to put this in. Elon is a fan, right? I mean, he's
Oh yeah,
definitely
watches every week. I'm sure of it.
most certainly, most certainly. I mean, why else would we talk about him?
Yeah.
Besides, he's brilliant, right? But I saw that him and Mark Cuban had an agreement. Did you catch that in the
Yeah,
headlines?
yeah.
About the Dogecoin?
All the crypto stuff with them, man. They love Doge for some reason.
I think they just like messing with people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I heard Mark Cuban's son owns a few Doge, and of course Elon really likes to go for the underdog or the underdoge. So, he's there. They've actually come to. They agree that they think it's the best method of exchange out there.
Seems questionable to pick it as the best, but
yeah,
it's an option.
Gotta say, there's a bigger, nicer one that's out there that's got a lot more actual, people behind it. But hey, Doge is still cool. I like Doge. It's a fun little coin. But remember, there are literally billions of them, billions and billions. Everyone could be a Doge millionaire if you wanted to, but that doesn't. What does that mean?
That and 10 cents, yeah.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
But Doge is something like 30 cents a coin
Okay,
or
yeah,
something
so it's
like
gone
that.
up,
So
yeah.
it's gone up a lot, and I think a lot of it has to do with big names talking about it. I see Robinhood apparently made like 60% of their money in the crypto space from Doge trading.
Amazing.
So there's a lot of people behind it, and that is how you make a market, is by having enough people be willing to trade it. And if you've got enough willing to buy it, then that means it's got value. So
That's the
it's not
momentum
wrong.
right now. So. All right, so a lot of neat topics, and Jeremy, it's
yeah.
exciting that you're back.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I love it.
Until
It's
next week, sir.
Great to be back.
All right.